Okay, we will look into the first presentation slide, motion. So in that we have discussed the motion of a body relative to a frame of reference and the speed, acceleration, momentum, all these kind of data. So first let us see a body is moving in a system. So we are checking it within a frame of reference. So considering the frame of reference, the body will be moving. But if you consider another frame of reference, maybe the body will not be moving. So depending on the frame of reference only, we can say that the body is moving or not. So when describing something that is moving, you are comparing it with something that is assumed to be stationary, or we take it as a frame of reference. Okay. Now, for example, you are on a train that just left the platform. So for the people standing on the platform, it will be seen that the train is moving, isn't it? But the person sitting inside the train, then the train is not moving. The person sitting next to you does not see you moving, isn't it? So if you are inside the train and you are seeing next person sitting near to you, that person is not moving. So but compared to the person which is standing on the platform, that person inside the train is moving, isn't it? So it depends always on the frame of reference which you consider. So the frame of reference depends on the type of movement and position from which you are observing. Okay. An actor may be standing still and the background is moving, isn't it? Let us see an actor. The actor is staying still there, but the background, we are moving the background. Then it will be seen that for a audience, it will be seen that the actor is moving with respect to the background. So this will be, we assume then that the background is stationary. This is the case of considering the frame of reference. So earth is most commonly used as a frame of reference. Now let us see motion, which is here considered. Motion is a change in position in a certain amount of time. So what do motion means? Motion means a change in position with respect to time. Okay, with respect to time. When you say that something has moved, you are describing a motion. Okay, and in describing motion, you are comparing it with some frame of reference. So always we need, in order to say that something is moved, you should always have a frame of reference. If you don't have a frame of reference, we cannot say that it is moved. So it is moved or not. Okay. So always motion means with respect to a frame of reference, a object is displaced and with displaced after a certain time. So at one time the object is placed at one place, and after some time the object is moved to another place. So after a duration of time, the object is moved to another place with respect to a frame of reference. Then it is called a motion. Okay. Now speed. What is speed? Speed is, that means it is the you can see in a race the runners had to move or change positions to get the finish line in a certain amount of time. So we are having the data, time and the distance traveled, isn't it? The positions we know. The before time started, before the motion was started, the time we know. After the motion is finished, we know the time. So we know the time difference and the position difference. The position difference gives the displacement or distance traveled, isn't it? So that distance traveled, we know, the first term is distance traveled. To describe a motion, we always need these two, the distance traveled and the time. So if you have a distance traveled and the time taken, if you take the ratio of it, you will get the value of speed. Okay, and it should be in SI unit. So distance traveled should be in meters, and time taken should be in second. Okay, speed is the rate at which the object moves, that is distance divided by time, and unit will be meter per second. So more faster means more this speed will be larger. Slower means this speed will be small. Constant speed. What is constant speed? When we have a graph connecting the time and the distance traveled of an object, then if you get a straight line, that means it is moving in a constant speed. That means the slope, that is the ratio of the distance divided by time. So the ratio of distance and time is constant. That means the speed is constant. So you have the slope constant here. There in that curve, the slope is constant. So graph is straight line for a constant speed. Now we have a problem. At what speed did a plane fly if it traveled 1760 meters in 8 seconds? How will you find the speed? It is the distance traveled divided by time. So write a formula, substitute given numbers and units, solve for the unknown. If you want to find the average speed, what is average speed? We need to say find that. If the speed is not constant, we should find the average speed. How will you find the average speed? So the average speed also uses the formula speed, which is equal to average speed is equal to total distance traveled by total time. That's all. So the curve will not be straight line. It will be as shown here. It will be sometimes straight and then flattened up and then again straight up. So we here going to Columbus, you change speeds during the drive many times. So overall you travel at an average speed. Okay, so the total distance traveled you take and the total time you divide, then you will get the average speed. Now what is the difference between speed and velocity? Last class, in the online class, I have said that. What is the difference? Velocity is the speed in a given direction. That's the only thing you need to remember. Speed in a given direction. It is also determined by using the distance from the starting position to the end position rather than the distance of the path taken. We don't need to find the path taken. We don't need to consider the path, but the distance, the displacement, we need the first initial position and the end position. If they are same, what will be the velocity? The displacement is 0 there, isn't it? So velocity will be 0. So the runner moves eastward 10 km. And the speed is eastward at 10 meter per second. The speed is 10 meter per second. But how will you write the velocity? The velocity is 10 meter per second east. So the direction is also involved there. So when you write or when you say that an object has a velocity, it should contain both the value of speed and the direction. Okay. So remember that. Velocity is very important for airplane pilots, weather forecasters and anyone driving from one place to another. So velocity is very important term. So these are the things you can learn from these slides. I will not discuss that. You know the average speed, normal speed, average speed and the velocity. How will you distinguish between velocity and speed? All these things you have studied now. Now, changes in velocity. If you increase or decrease the velocity, you have another term, that is acceleration or deceleration. You need to define a term called acceleration or deceleration. It is the rate of change of velocity. Okay. So, how will you change the velocity with respect to time? So, that is acceleration or deceleration. So, how will you calculate the acceleration or deceleration? It can be speeding up or slowing down, and changing direction also is giving acceleration, because velocity is changing if the direction is changed. If the speed is not changed, still if the direction is changed, the velocity will be also changing. Remember that. So you don't need to speed up or slow down. You just need to change the direction of the motion. Then you will get acceleration there. Okay, remember that. Acceleration is defined as the rate of change of, it's not moment, it's velocity. Okay, it's not correct. So final velocity minus original velocity divided by time. So final is ending velocity, original is starting velocity. It tells how fast something is moving and gives direction. So it also contains the direction. So if you change the direction, the acceleration is changing. And it is used when there are changes in velocity. Okay, now we have a problem. A roller coaster's velocity at the top of a hill is 10 meters per second. 2 seconds later, it reaches the bottom of the hill with a velocity of 26 meters per second. What is the acceleration? So we know the initial velocity and the final velocity. So take the difference and then divide it with the time. So then you will get the acceleration. Okay, what is deceleration? When there is a decrease in velocity, the value of acceleration will be negative. So remember that acceleration is positive, deceleration is negative. So negative acceleration is called deceleration. So this graph shows a decelerating body's movement. Okay, so the motion here is decelerating motion. The distance traveled will be like it is going to a constant kind of plateau kind of curve. So distance time graph for acceleration and deceleration will be curved graph. Okay, remember that, curved graph. Circular motion. In circular motion also the velocity is continuously changing because the direction at each point of the circular motion is changing, isn't it? So even if the velocity, the speed is same or the speed is constant, the direction is changing. So the velocity is changing. That means the acceleration is there. An object in circular motion is accelerating even though its speed may be constant. Example, Ferris wheel traveling in a car, turning a corner, or even as you sleep, the earth is continuously rotating. So when you are sleeping, you are also accelerating. Changes in velocity. Okay, these are the things you will now you have now learned. Okay, the bookwork we don't need to check. It is worksheet. For worksheet is not given. So next we go to momentum. Okay, what is momentum? Momentum means mass into velocity. That means a body, if it moves, it has a mass, isn't it? It has a mass and it has a velocity. So higher momentum means it can either have a maximum higher velocity, or it can either or it has a higher mass. So if you increase the mass, the momentum will be increasing, or if you increase the velocity, the momentum will be increasing. So we can check how the momentum is conserved. So when you have two bodies colliding each other, the momentum will be conserved for each of these bodies. So before colliding, the first body has a momentum, isn't it? So the second body also have a momentum. After collision, and you can check whether first body has a different momentum and the second body has a different momentum other than the earlier momentums. But the sum of these momentums before collision and after collision, sum of the first body's momentum and second body's momentum will be equal to the after collision. It will be equal to sum of the initial body's momentum and first body's momentum and second body's momentum. So m1, if the first body has mass m1 and it has a velocity v1 before collision, and second body has momentum m2 and v2, we can say after collision the first body has m1 dash v1 dash mass and velocity, and second body has m2 dash v2 dash mass and velocity. Then m1 v1 plus m2 v2 will be equal to m1 dash v1 dash plus m2 dash v2 dash. That is the law of conservation of momentum. Okay, Now here an example is shown. A 100-kilogram forward player runs up the middle of the football field and collides with a 75-kilogram defending player back running towards him. The more massive forward player is thrown back 2 meters. How can a 75-kilogram defending player stop a 100-kilogram forward player? എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് നടക്കുന്നത്? ഒരു വെയിറ്റ് കൂടിയ ഒരാൾ എങ്ങനെ ഒരു വെയിറ്റ് കുറഞ്ഞ ആളെ ഇത്രയും 2 meters ത്രോ ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് പറ്റുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ്? The defending player has more momentum. How? The defending player here he has 75 kilogram, but he has more velocity, so the momentum will be larger. So he can make more impact on the more weight person. So here all moving. That's all. That is the reason. Okay. So the defending player has more momentum. That is why the defending player throws the forward player 2 meters away. Okay. Momentum. Next one. All moving objects have momentum. The more momentum, the harder to stop the object. Momentum depends on the mass of the object and the velocity with which it is traveling. So it is mass into velocity, and its unit is kilogram meter per second. A train has larger momentum because of its mass. A bullet fired from a rifle has large momentum, but because of its very high velocity. അല്ലേ? ബുള്ളറ്റിൻ്റെ വെലോസിറ്റി വളരെ ഹൈ ആണ്, അതുകൊണ്ട് അതിന് ലാർജ് മൊമെൻറ്റമാണ്. പക്ഷേ ട്രെയിനിനാണെങ്കിൽ ലാർജ് മാസ് ആണ്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് അതിന് ലാർജ് മൊമെൻറ്റം. ഓക്കെ. നൗ കൺസർവേഷൻ ഓഫ് മൊമെൻറ്റം. ലെറ്റ് us see conservation of momentum. The total momentum of any group of objects remains the same unless outside forces act on the object. So that is called conservation of momentum. Before collision and after collision, the momentums will be same unless we act a outside force on it. Okay. If one object loses momentum, then another object must gain the momentum. That is conservation. Okay. Total momentum of 2 billiard balls before they hit and after they hit must be the same. Individual momentum can change even though total momentum remains. That means if one ball speeds up, the other one should slow down. Examples. The momentum of a baseball bat is transferred to the ball when the bat and the ball meet. So the momentum, if you are having a higher mass bat, then it will have higher momentum, isn't it? If mass is increased, it will have higher momentum. You need not have to make high velocity for the bat. So it will have a higher momentum if the mass is larger. And this momentum will be transferred to the ball. If the ball is very small, having very small mass, it can take large velocity. The act of throwing an object off a boat causes the boat to move in the opposite direction. The more massive the object and the faster it is thrown, the faster the boat will move away. So if the object which is thrown is more massive, the momentum will be large. So the boat will be moved back little faster. So that is what it says. Momentum conservation.